Talk to us about these numbers, the push higher. What's behind it, do you think?
Yeah, no, it's been an interesting climb out of the depths that we saw back in August and September, now eclipsing, I think, its levels that we last saw in May. And it seems to be happening on fairly sizable volumes, which would normally in these markets indicate that it's institutions coming back into play. And there have been a few headlines that I think have lent themselves as tailwinds to these markets, most notably just in the last few days. Gensler, of course, at the SEC, coming out and saying that he does not, in fact, aim to ban all cryptocurrencies, and some people interpreting some of his remarks as being bullish for the possibility of a Bitcoin ETF. So a few tailwinds to point to, but as ever in these markets, there's a lot of mystery to the movements as well.
Jill, talk to us about the overall flows that you're seeing or hearing of that are happening between Bitcoin and Ethereum and some of the other protocols, because it really feels as though Bitcoin and Ethereum have always been dubbed sort of the gold and the silver. How much are we seeing institutional money as well as retail money take Ethereum and some of the other protocols more seriously?
Yeah, so when I speak to the institutional flows, a lot of that does still center around Bitcoin and Ethereum specifically. Bitcoin, most of all, of course, still being the blue chip, or the gold, as you put it, Caroline, rightly. But increasingly, we're seeing interest from institutions in moving sort of down the ranks of the crypto ecosystem to get access to other layer one protocols, many of which are coming and nipping at Ethereum's heels now in terms of developer adoption, in terms of end user adoption, and so forth. So there you have the likes of Solana. Slow Ventures is a major investor in Solana. You have things like Polkadot, Avalanche coming for Ethereum, and all of those tokens have ridden those tailwinds well. You also, though, have app coins. So these are applications that have been developed on Ethereum that have their own tokens, and so your own ways of expressing views, not only on Ethereum as a whole now, but of course on these specific DeFi applications and so forth. And then finally, it wouldn't be a crypto segment if we didn't touch on NFTs and the new models that, of course, we're seeing people take as they approach investing in those new types of assets that we're seeing altogether.
Talk to us a little bit about Solana, because of course this has really been dubbed the sort of Ethereum killer. You, as you say, Slow Ventures, an investor there. What took you with that particular protocol? What is it about Solana and the growth profile that you like so much?
Yeah, so Solana from the get-go has been all about trying to solve developer problems. And they've done a great job in terms of targeting developer acquisition. They've run a series of hackathons and grant programs and so forth that have been very successful. They now have over 1,000 active developers in the ecosystem. And that now has translated to the growth of end users in the ecosystem and of the applications on the platform. And so whereas you see within the Ethereum decentralized finance ecosystem, which of course has been around longer, is more well established in many ways, there's about 90 billion in total locked value in that ecosystem. You've now seen over the last few months the rise of Solana applications to now have about 10 billion locked in there. And the same trends hold true as you look at the user base of it, as you look at wallets, which is a good proxy for the number of users in any of these ecosystems. Wallet downloads. Solana is currently seeing about 100,000 new wallet downloads per day. So that's, a rough proxy again for the type of growth that they're seeing in that ecosystem.
And you just mentioned the good old non-fungible token, NFT. I felt like it was a very bubblicious kind of area a couple of months ago, but now people really seeing the long-term possibility of creating real value, real return, particularly those for artists in the making. Solana-based NFTs, how big a seismic shift is that for people being able to go and create?
Yeah, exactly. So Solana's been investing heavily in the NFT ecosystem. FTX, which is one of the major crypto exchanges out there, FTX US has actually just announced their own foray into the NFT marketplace space. So a sort of competitor, if you will, to the likes of OpenSea, which of course is more Ethereum focused. FTX will be basing this marketplace on Solana. And so that's yet another kind of bullish signal, I would say, around the protocol. protocol. So that's very exciting. And again, it all comes back to what developers want, what end users want, which, at least relative to Ethereum, is increased scalability, increase in throughput, in the ability to get transactions through the system, and also, of course, as ever, lower fees, which is always a hot topic of conversation whenever these things take off within Ethereum.